Well, we're working on our we call it a right-of-way tractor because it looks like a right-of-way mowing tractor. I never did build it to really do that. I just built it because we used to really strive and do a lot of nasty brush mowing for people, and we built it to protect the tractor and to be able to do stuff that most people can't. And we found out painfully slowly that there ain't no money in it. I mean, by the time you beat your tractor all to pieces and your bush hog and stuff, you can't charge enough money and make it economical to where people can afford it. So only thing we do now is just really steep hillsides, grass, easy stuff. And I leave the guards on because it's still kind of hard to get around on those properties without tearing stuff up. But it's got a hydraulic winch. I think it's like 11,000 pound hydraulic winch on the front. I built all the cage. Some of this stuff actually come off another tractor that I had. I traded it in on this one, and I took part of the cage and retrofitted it over onto this tractor. That's full of concrete, that piece of pipe. It's got full belly pans. Runs all the way on from one end to the other. I don't know if I can get a good view of it or not. But, yeah, you can see. They run all the way across the bottom of the tractor. I got D-rings to pull it whenever it gets, if it does get hung up, chain it down, bind it down. It does have spacers. See them right there? It does have spacers on it to make it 9 inches wider. The tractor, I think, is from outside tire to outside tire is like 8'2", 8'3", somewhere around there. And I think the front might be tucked in to 8 foot. Not because of me, but just because of the spacing on it. But it's a well-built machine. It protects the operator. It's got doors. They're laying in the shed. We take the doors off. I don't run them with doors very much. I build them mostly for the shock value, but it's just got a slide hinge. So you bring the door over here and you just slide it down on top of that pin, and then it's got a locking pin that goes in there, and it kind of just protects it from brush hitting everything. This is an exhaust guard. A lot of tree limbs will ride those limb risers, and they had a tendency of hooking in behind my exhaust stack. So I kind of made that exhaust guard up right there, and it really works. It really works good. You can see from the pretty heavy scratches and gouges that probably would have took the exhaust off. It is a hot tractor. When you run it into the summertime, you will sweat. But all in all, it's a good tractor. I got it in here because, I don't know if you can see right here, but my tires are starting to rub, so I'm going to take these engine cover guards off, and I'm going to diagonally cut right across through here, somewhere in this fashion. And then I'll just weld a piece of plate or something in there, or I might even find me a piece of angle iron, I don't know, just depending on what kind of mood I'm in. That way the tire, whenever you cut the wheel real hard, it don't get in there, and I'm afraid eventually it's going to hook them real good and it's going to pull them off, pry them off. But that is the loader mount. My brother, Gilbert, he's an excellent fabricator. I mean, I can build stuff, but I don't pride myself to being a fabricator. He is a fabricator, and he actually made these brackets right here. He made all this. We took these off and had them took up to a machine shop in Ona, and they actually milled and drilled them for him. And then he fabricated all of this gussets to fit this cage. This cage here, these rocks, he made these for me, about 7 or 8 years ago for another tractor. And we just hated just to waste them. So I took them off and we put them on this tractor here, and then I fabricated the limb risers and then these screens and stuff that I put. This was from where the tractor they come off of didn't have this system right there with all levers on it. So I had to actually cut open and kind of fabricate a little bubble. Because your hand, I ride the tractor and my hand's right there all the time because it's getting ready to pick up on the bush hog if I hit a hard spot or something. So your hand's very vulnerable right there. But all in all, I mean, the tractor is very well built. I put these little sharp pins on. That's to protect. Most of the time a big stub is what gets your steps. So I put that on to deflect those stubs. I put them on both sides. And this tractor's got DEF fluid too. So I was going to build a tank guard and put a tank guard on here to protect that. But again, we backed off. We don't do that stuff like we used to. This is a similar setup to deflect those stubs. And I got stub guards. I weld a plate standing up on the belly pan. That kind of just deflects stubs from getting in there, your plastic tanks and everything. There's a very vulnerable system right up underneath this fuel tank where the DEF pump and everything. It's very, very vulnerable. So I fabricated this system to keep that from getting tore up. Everything's boltable. Nothing's welded on. Nothing's permanent. It takes about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and I can have this tractor stripped back down, and it looks just like a regular old tractor. You would never know that it was ever in the brush, and it's not really been in the brush a whole bunch. I mean, it really ain't. This tractor hasn't seen the abuse that the other one's seen. We've had a couple 100-horse cab tractors. They was guarded up like this, and now they've seen some abuse. And the 55-horse that I used to have, it was abused. But this one right here has not been. But you can see, it just protects everything. That's all it's designed to do. Keep stuff from getting in your face and up underneath your tractor. What we got it in here for is to fix those guards on the engine. And we're going to fix, we've got a few cracks, like right here. This is very typical. This is an HX series. This is one of the, I think this is the third one I've owned. I had two HX 6-footers, and then this is an HX 7. I'm not really sure of the history of it, and if I did, I probably wouldn't tell it, but I ended up getting it, acquiring it from John Deere, and it was broke when I got it. We had to fix it. I bought it for parts, and ended up fixing it. My brother did. Me and my brother ended up fixing it, and I ended up using it and keeping it and selling the other bush hogs. But this is typical. These break. There's a lot of force right in here, and not picking up your bush hog when you're turning causes this, and just the overall abuse. I mean, this needs to be a little bit heavier built, but the newer ones I think are redesigned and they're a lot better. But I'll actually kind of just V all this out and weld the crack up. And then I'll probably put a little piece of plate over top of it, and I'll weld that plate all the way around because I'm not going to take the time and flip it upside down and get on the inside of it. I'm just not going to do it. I'll throw a piece of plate over that and weld that up. And I think all in all, I thought there's more cracks in that. There's one on both sides. And other than that, it's actually in good shape. The 3-point hitch, none of it is broke. So, and these are special pins. So that's the reason why you see that on there. I don't know if I've got one laying over here or not. This is one I've already made. I guess I didn't keep one in the raw, but typically how they come is like this. This is not on there. And this washer and none of that stuff's on there that I've welded on. This is how it comes, just like this. It's made to where you can go between a category 2 and a category 3, I think is what that is. I don't really know exactly how you configure it and how you can make it work on multiple tractors. But anyway, this shoulder right there rides inside of here. So you can't just go to John Deere and get a pin. You have to, or the Tractor Supply, you have to use John Deere pins. Well, these things are notorious for coming out. So I weld these little hoops on and hook that chain on them, and that way if they can't fall out. If they do fall out, which I got the chain tightened up enough now. They can't fall out on the ground. So, but that's kind of what we're doing today. Today's Saturday. Today's day 8 of my quarantine. 8, I think. And I'm just kind of dabbling around. Here's the other side's broke. It's broke right through there. So we're gonna, it's getting pretty close to lunchtime. I'll probably go eat lunch and then come back, and I'll start working on this today, and I'll try to get this buttoned up. This probably won't take very long. A little bit of welding, a little bit of fabricating, and I'll have this done. So you guys stay tuned. Well, we got all that fixed up. You can see right there where I kind of notched it. Now when it's sitting flat, you cut the wheel, it don't even really get close to that shield, that guard. It's whenever you get it in a bind, right, one way or the other. And it was kind of close, and it still may rub a little bit, but it's got to be better. I kind of freshened up the front of her a little bit there with some paint. When I built all that bumper for the other tractor, I painted all that green. And this one here, I painted it black because I like the black a lot better. But I know that's not exactly green match. That's just only green that I had laying here. So I put a little bit of paint on her, patchwork. Just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. And I mean, she's ready. I've checked her over a few times, and everything else looks to be pretty well solid. So, which one of the reasons why is because by the time I ended up with this bush hog, I didn't do as much hard, nasty stuff as I did. So, but I got both sides all clipped and refabbed and welded back together good. So, the old stickers were starting to peel. So, I went ahead and dressed it up, put a couple new KD logos on her, and I put a little bit of air in this one tire over here. This tire was a little bit low. It's got some bend places in it. I took a hammer and beat that one back out, and you can still see it's kind of got a pretty good little woolly burger on her, but it's still holding there, and it ain't leaking water out. Windshield washer fluid, whatever they use. This side over here still got some bark in it, but I'll have to let off the air out of her and get that stuff out eventually. But that's where we rub it up against them stupid trees. Another reason why I don't do as much hardcore stuff as I did. So, but this baby's ready to go back out. We'll take her back out there and park him in the shed, and it's getting a little bit late. I don't know. I may head back down toward the house. I might work on my service truck. I haven't drove it in over 2 weeks. I figured a battery would be dead. I got one battery bad, I still think, in it. I put one new battery in it, but I drove it up here today because it had a lot more tools on it. I may dabble around a little bit with it, and again, I may just head on back down toward the house. So, just wanted to give you guys a little rundown of what I've been trying to do here during the quarantine, but hopefully that'll be over with soon, and we'll get us some work lined up, rolling, and get back at it. You guys have a fun-filled day.